Hi, this video will show you how to modify Workforce so that you can enter in bonuses directly as an employee by each employee for both new hires and also existing employees. This is a modification of a template that Oracle provided for a workshop, but I customized it slightly for this application. So a couple of ways that you can go about doing it, but the first thing you need to do is go into accounts. And what I did over here was go into my accounts dimension, go into workforce accounts, workforce planning assumptions, and right by underneath employee properties, I just added an account called bonus underscore input at this level. So salary, you can ignore salary input for now, but it's just bonus underscore input. And I'm basically setting that to be a store account and making it available for the workforce planning cube. Okay. Then the next thing you do is you go to the component dimension, drill down into components and go to your additional earnings components, and you add a member here for called bonus. So this will show up in bonus, just adding an additional member here, setting that up, that component. Once that's done, you refresh the application and you'll go into the configuration wizard and select on workforce, and then go down to the benefits and taxes wizard. Be able to pick your additional earnings, click apply, and you'll see the bonus category you set up. I'm going to pick component type simple. Simple means is that there's going to be one option, basically no option, and everybody's going to get the same rate. So it's just going to be a simple applied. Financial account, I'm mapping it to bonus in the financial account. I'm going to be paying monthly calendar. Value type, I have it set to flat rate, which is what I want to do in this example, is basically enter in an amount and have it translated through. Maximum value, also flat rate, and also setting it to taxable. And I'm going to add it to gross pay. So next. So on this rate screen, basically what I have on here is I'm setting the rate to be 0. So this way, if I don't put in a number, no one's going to get a bonus. So if I don't give you a number on the bonus screen, you're not going to get a bonus on here. And I'm leaving the threshold blank. So this way, there's no thresholds. But if you had a rate here, you could set this to be a default rate and say if there's something there, add this. But basically, I'm just making it to be 0. So I'm also going to I can do pound missing as well. So I'm going to hit save on there. And basically, there should be nothing configured for this. So now I'm going to close it. Close it. And then I'm going to go to my default screen to make sure that my employees have a default associated with this. So I'm going to go into compensation planning. Going to go to my defaults. Click on for additional earnings. And notice that I have one set up here for all jobs, all experience levels, or in this case, all union codes. And the bonus is the account. And it's going to be no option associated with it. So now I have no options set up on that piece of it. So after this is done, basically if I was to assign an option, there would be nothing in that account. Everybody would have it and they would have nothing in that account. So we need to basically set up some way of doing some input into it. So what we're going to do now is just modify one of the existing forms. So what I did here was I took the underneath plan sheets compensation, I took the employee manage existing employees, and I made a copy of it into this enter bonus. And I did a few things with it, which I'll talk you through right now. Change the name of it, of course, change the layout. I left just the total compensation details on the right, column B, all the way over, left that column. But I set it to be dimension. I set the dimension to allow it to expand. So I set it that to be demand expanded. And then I left this column on the left-hand side, set it to be bonus input, which is the account I created, no property, and beginning balance. What else I did on here was change the employees level to be existing employees out of the box, but I also changed it to new employees because I want to have new employees in here as well. So if there's any, this is the two major changes that I made to it. So now if I preview this, you'll see that for where I'm looking at the system, I'll have my bonus input available and I'll be able to see the total salary and earnings going across to the right. So this way I'll be able to input it in. So it should look something like this. That's done. So once that's done, what you would want to do is add this also to a workflow. So you would probably want to go into tools. Go into NavFlow, tools, NavFlow. And I have one already set up, but I'm going to just temporarily make it inactive. Go into the project workflow and then go into workforce, compensation planning, and I'll have underneath manage employees. I've entered in a reference to this enter bonus web form over there. So this way I can actually enter in my bonus right from that screen. One other piece before it's all said and done and ready to go. You need to change the formula associated with the additional accounts. So let's switch this over to workforce. And if we were going to look at the workforce planning accounts and go look underneath workforce expenses, total compensation, you'll see here the total earnings. Each one of these has a member formula and they should all be identical. I currently have in this system only 2 earnings accounts, so it's not possible for anybody to have more than 2 earnings accounts, but you should edit all of these at the same time. And so here's the edit. Here's the formula. And what I'm just going to do is take it and drag it into an editor. This way we can see it a little bit better. So looking into here in the editor, you'll notice that each component is going to have a different type of pay. So this one's always, if you really want to make sure that you have this set up, you would try to take a look at each one of these and make sure, evaluate what you want to do from a calculation standpoint and setting this up. But I know that I'm only going to be paying out this bonus and setting up my terms for it to be monthly at the time. So this particular monthly is going to be right here around line 62. So if you can tell, it says month options. And what I did was after this if statement, after the end if statement, I've added my comment over here. And basically what I'm putting in is the syntax right here that says if I picked the earning, if that particular account is set to be earnings list bonus, and I have input in the bonus input, no property, beginning balance, no missing, just set the value of that account to be expense amount equals bonus input, no property, beginning balance, whatever the user enters, divided by 12, because I'm just doing a monthly case. If not, just make it missing. So if I don't have anything in the bonus account, just make it missing, then I end the if, and that would take care of it. Now, since I just want this to be done monthly, and that's the only frequency I have, I'd have to set that up. But if I did set this up to be more, not monthly or, other frequencies, you'd have to go and edit these as well. So you need to understand what the client is asking for it. So once that's all saved, you can paste that into the workforce, validate it up, and then run a refresh. And then you should be pretty much good to go. So let's take a look at this in action. And you should add it for pretty much all of those earnings accounts. Just change them because you may have more than 2. And you may add more in the future. So you can't guarantee which order the earnings accounts are going to be associated with an employee. So you should edit them all and make changes to them as necessary. So let's just go into workforce. Take a look. We're going to go into compensation planning. And I basically have over here my default that was set up. And I'm going to go into existing employees that I have set up. And I don't have right now, if I were to look at them, I don't have any bonus or anything associated with these guys. I just have one earnings account. But what I'm going to do now is go into my bonus screen on a particular project. And I have this nice opening up here. So I'm going to type in the bonus. So let's see, 3,000. So we're going to give out some bonuses. But with that, won't be happy with that one. These guys, I can't tell you the type today. Take out 0. Add in this 1,000. So now that those are all saved, I'll click save, and I've just entered into the bonus calculation. So since these employees already had existing defaults, so if I didn't have a default associated with it, I would want to run synchronized defaults. And what that would do is take any of the defaults that I've associated for that particular entity and apply them. So as you can see, this one's already been. This has already been. Now this I've run the synchronized defaults, and the earnings have gone up via the bonus. But what I'm going to do now is just do calculate compensation for the rest of them, since I've already synchronized the defaults for these guys, and we're going to take a look at them and see what they look like. So calculate compensation as well, and last one. So these are to-be hires, and I also have existing employees I was able to enter in the bonus for. So now we have the bonus, but let's just take a quick look at one of these guys. We'll click on Han Solo, and you'll notice that he doesn't have his full bonus on this piece of it. And that's because what I've added a right-click menu to set that up for that guy. So let me just go back to the last screen I was on. Click on Han, employee details, and he's only starting in the middle of the year. So even though I gave him a $30,000 bonus, since it was only spread out by 12, he only got the 15 on that piece of it. So that might be something that we'd have to tweak the calculation for, whether that's something that you would want to do or not want to do from the for the calculations. The rest of the application seems to work that way. So like if your salary is set up to be $50,000 and you start in the middle of the year, it's going to spread it just like what this guy is done. So it's going to take into effect the start month for the monthly stuff. So that one seems to be working. But if I take a quick look at one of these guys who were pretty much hired the whole year, and employee details, you'll see now that there's a bonus associated with them for $6,000. Now, if I took one of these guys and didn't have a bonus for them, so say this guy, he really doesn't have much of a bonus, and I click save, and now I'm just going to calculate the compensation for him. You'll see it goes back down, and even though I still have the association with that account, so I have no bonus associated with this account, so therefore I have no setup. So there's a few steps to make this happen, but you should be able to enter in a bonus for an amount for existing or employees that you would want to set up, and make it flow into the rest of the format pretty easily. The only thing is that the member formulas would need to be updated, and when Oracle updates their member formulas, that would change, and then you're modifying this workflow, which isn't too bad. But that is pretty much how that would work. Any questions, let me know. Thanks.